Lowell. As you can see, once again, we are on special location. I'm your host, Maritza Grooms, joined by my personal professor, Bob Forrant.
Good afternoon.
And we're here in room 102 with our last guest, Miss Jessica Lander. Hello, Jessica.
Hi. Thank you for having me back on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely, and thank you for coming to our classroom.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us, I should say. And we have even more special guests.
Absolutely.
Your students.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, students.
How are you?
Hi.
Yeah, so enthusiastic. I love it.
Well, it is Friday at 2:45, so.
Yeah.
Please introduce yourselves. Tell the people who you are.
I'm Emanuele Ferreira. I'm from Brazil, and then I am 11th grade at Lowell High School.
My name is Jadiel Negron. I'm Puerto Rican, and I'm a junior at Lowell High School.
My name is Smith Rojas. I'm Colombian. I'm from Colombia, and I'm a junior.
Wow. Thank you all for being here today on this very warm Friday.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And we're here to talk about a really awesome project that you worked on called Tasting History. That sounds like something I really love. I love history, I love food. I want to hear all about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a little bit hard to write everything, but with this lender, with this amazing teacher, we did really fine.
Oh, you really love your teacher.
Yes, I do. I said her, I'm gonna graduate next year, and then I say, you're gonna be in my book.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
I said her, Miss,
Nice.
she's gonna be there. And I say, I want your signature in my book.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. I love that so much. Now, Miss Lander, you do
Yes.
this project every year
I do.
with your class.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. So the origins of this project is, so I teach U.S. history to all recent immigrant and refugee students, including these three wonderful young people here. And we start off our study of history looking at the history of immigration in this country, specifically looking at the history of immigrants who came about 120 years ago. And we look at the laws that were meant to include and the laws that were meant to exclude. We look at the experience of immigrants living in tenements. This year we did a virtual tour of the Tenement Museum in New York City, and so got to see what a tenement looked like. We look at Angel Island and read the poems written by Chinese immigrants detained there, and we look at the poem below the Statue of Liberty. And so grappling with the hard history of immigration in this country 100 years ago or 120 years ago. And when I first started this project, I was looking around for what should be the final project, what should be that closing assignment we would do. And a lot of the ideas online said some version of imagine you had to leave your country, or imagine you had to come to a new country. And of course, my students don't have to imagine. My students are experts. And so wanting to center their expertise and their histories as part of our larger study of the country's history is really important. And so we came up with what became the Tasting History Project. And I'll let my students talk about what it is, but that's the origins of this project. And it has grown in many unusual ways that I could not have foreseen when we started this project back in, I want to say it was 2017 was the first book we published.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what year is it now? 2024?
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds like it would be my favorite part of the class if I was a student. Was this maybe one of your favorite parts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So tell us more about what did you love about this project?
I love it to remember how happy I was when I saw my family cooking that dishes, because it had been a long time. When you come here, sometimes you forgot how it was being in your country. And then you forgot some memories, and then you forgot some happy memories, because here it's really hard to get used to it here. Because you leave your room, and then your family there, and then you come to a new country to do a new room. So yeah. So when you start writing and thinking about, you start remember a lot of other, not just this one, but a lot of other dishes and then other important things in your life. And then when you get stuck on your project, you see oh, that's what I want. And then it's really it's a mixture of feelings, you know, like happiness, sadness, like feeling missing things. So it's a lot of feelings mixed. You can be happy, you can be sad, you can be thoughtful, and then it's really, really a good experience, I think.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of feelings involved.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine what it was like to leave where you're from to come here. I mean, sometimes just moving from city to city in just one state can be tough for people,
Yeah.
but to move from where, and at the age, how old were you when you came here?
I came here when I was 15.
15.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna do 18 next month. Yeah.
Wow.
It has been almost 3 years.
Oh my gosh. And how about you? How old were you when you first came here?
7.
7? Wow. So you've been here for 10 years? Obviously, math is not my strong suit.
That means you're 17.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob.
Just in case. Just in case.
Study
That's why I'm
history,
your
not
favorite
math.
teacher, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go.
And how about you, my love?
14.
You were 14 when you first came here?
Yeah.
Wow. So I assume 3 or 4 years.
2.
2 years.
Yeah.
Just
So that means she's
16. Whew, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get an A.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm intrigued by how you all, maybe we'll start that with you first, if that's okay, and come this way. How you, when the project was first suggested, when in the classroom it was, we're gonna do a cookbook, how did you begin to sort through and think about, okay, what's my food gonna be? Did you have a lot of choice? Did you think of a lot of things? Like, how did you narrow it down?
The first thing I do was call my grandma because I didn't know what to make. And she told me to make arepas because she always made it at the morning. So,
Okay. And so she gave you the secret
Yeah.
secret recipe? The family recipe?
she told me how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever make them with her when you were back
Yeah.
home?
When
Oh,
I was at home, yeah. I made with you.
yeah.
Does she know she's made it into the book?
No.
You need to take a picture of it on your phone and send it. How about you?
Wait, what was the question again?
How did you, because I know if it was me, a lot of my family came from Italy, and if I was going to try to pick a recipe, it would be crazy to try to figure out, okay, of all the things, what would the one be, right? So how did it end up that the one you have in the book, tell us what it is, but then why that one?
Yes, cabeche and molleja. I chose that one because it was the first one on my mind. And
Okay.
I really like to eat it so much.
All right, there you go.
So,
Okay, so it's like a favorite.
yeah, my favorite.
Does it remind you of Puerto Rico? Does it remind you maybe like when you go there on a vacation or you go there to visit relatives or?
Yeah, when I go visit my grandma.
Okay,
I'm seeing a common theme
so
here.
grandma's a big here.
Yeah.
I remember at the bookstore you were all talking, other students, and I said, what about grandpas? Because in my family, my grandfather cooked. In my Italian family, my grandfather was a cook. And so I learned how to cook from him. But anyway, so, and then what happened? You start thinking about, okay, this is what I'm gonna pick. What happens after that? How do you go from there?
It's because I always had birthday parties at Brazil, and when you come here, you don't find a lot of like easy. It's not easy find that dishes here because you have to go to a Brazilian place.
Okay,
And here at Lowell, there's a lot of Brazilian places, but there's a lot of these dishes because it's like a bread pie and go with a lot of things. Like I said in the book, it's a weird combination. When you look at it, you say, "No, thank you, I'm okay." But it's really good. I promise. And then when was my birthday, I always had that on the table.
okay.
And my grandma used to cook that.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember her, and then I remember my buddy's birthday. So I was like, I can do it. And then I called her, and then I also called my mom. And then she said, for real because it's a little bit difficult to do it.
Okay.
Miss Dana can tell because she made it. She cooked it. And then she said, okay, we can do it, but you're going to help me. And then I was like, fine, okay. And then we started doing that, and it was fun because it was my grandma on the phone, my mom and I in the kitchen, and then we were cooking and remember the stories about how I was young and then how I stole chicken from the bowl and start running. So it was a good memory, it was a good time.
Oh, I love that. Did it bring up good memories for both of you too?
So,
Yeah.
Mix. Yeah. Did it make you miss home?
a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it difficult coming here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Food smell, there's something about, I feel this like, my son is a chef at a restaurant in Providence, Rhode Island, a fancy Italian restaurant. So there's like a connection to the past and that he's doing that. And when I go there to eat, when I walk in and I smell certain smells, it reminds me of when I was at my grandparents', when I would go for Sunday dinner. And when I walk in, it's like, I'm kind of like expecting them to come around the corner. Now I know they're not going to come around the corner, right? But it definitely, I don't know if triggers is the right word, but it makes me reminisce, which is kind of like what you were all saying. So did you get that feeling as you were doing this?
Yes. Yes, yes.
And then so then what happened? You decided you're gonna pick what you're gonna pick.
Yeah, and so what do we do in class? Because you chose your recipe.
And then you write our recipe and then we translated everything. In Brazil it's kilos, here it's not kilos.
Yeah.
You know? So we start translating numbers and translating words.
Oh my god.
So there's math skills.
Yeah.
So I would struggle is what you're
Yeah,
telling me.
that
You can
would,
feel it?
yeah.
Okay.
A lot of editing. So many rounds of edits.
That's it. I would never. That's true. I never thought of that. But I'm thinking
Yeah.
of a set of cooking spoons with a teaspoon or a tablespoon or so it's
Yeah, it's different things. So what's annoying made me mad a lot of times. I said her like 100 times, I give up. You don't have to put me in the book. And then she said, I'm gonna help you. Let's do it. And I was like, this don't finish. There's no end. I'm tired. And then she's like, it's like that, but you almost finishing. She said that to me, you almost finished 100 times. Was never finishing.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's finished now.
So
thanks God, right?
when you were calling your grandmothers to get the recipe, did they struggle too with, well, I don't like, if you said to them, well, how much of something, did they say a pinch or a hand? Like when I cook, now that like certain things I love cooking, I don't measure. I just.
Yeah.
That
Smiths.
happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened to me.
Right, I think for yours, you were talking about, so to form the arepas, you were like, make them into balls and flatten them. And it's okay, so how big? And how flat? And because as we're writing these stories, we have to imagine people who've never tasted your food,
Right.
trying to make your food at home. And so how do we describe it really, really detailed?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And then in addition to the recipe, of course, there's the story that goes above it. Maybe, Jadil, would you be able to share a little bit about what the story is on the top?
Which one is it?
Yeah, so like
The
what
memory?
what were you writing about above the recipe itself?
Back in 2014, I came to the United States from mainland Puerto Rico. When I came to Logan Airport, I was so nervous and scared because everything was new for me. I didn't know English, and I was scared if someone would ask me a question in English. Now that we are on the mainland, we don't really make escabeche here. Only when we really feel like it. This meal reminds me of my family getting together for dinner, but now unfortunately, we can't do family dinner because we all are separated, so it's not fun like it used to be. Yeah, that's it.
How was it to write that story?
Stressful.
Yeah.
We had to think too much.
Yeah, this is the problem with school. You have to think. I teach at UMass Lowell, and my students say the same thing. You're making us think too much. And I say, why are you here?
Especially her.
Right?
Especially.
Yeah.
Especially in her class. We have to think too much.
So once you pick what you want to do, you make the whatever family connection you need to make to get the recipe, the ingredients. Did any of you have a hard time in Lowell finding the ingredients, like finding a particular spice or seasoning or like a main ingredient? Or was it, because there's so many different immigrant communities in Lowell, was it maybe easier than it would be if you lived in Dracut, let's say, or Tyngsboro or something like that, where everybody's, not everybody, but most everybody's the same? I would use the word homogenized. I don't know if you know what that word means, but a lot alike, right? Whereas in Lowell, you can go and you can go to Brazilian markets, or you can go to Puerto Rican markets, or Colombian, or Brazilian, or whatever it is, right? So, but even then, did you still have trouble? Like, there's something I gotta find, I can't find it.
It was hard to find the potato chips because some of them is really, really tiny and too salty. But these ones are not too salty and not too tiny. They are more bigger. So it was a little bit hard to find it. And sometimes the mayo also is hard to find here because can taste different if you don't mix the mayonnaise. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't have considered mayo being different.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's different. The taste is really different. Some of them is a little bit sweet. Another one is not so sweet. Yep, tastes different.
Yep. For sure. How about you? Trouble finding things, or pretty easy?
No, to be honest, I had already everything at home.
Oh, okay.
Just the chicken gizzards.
Just the gizzard you had to go get to the store. Yeah. How about you?
The fruit.
The fruit. Okay. Like it had to be in season or a certain. Do some of these things only, like you said, that was for that like was something you had on birthdays. This would be something you would, when you were in Puerto Rico and everybody was there, would this be something you would have a lot, like once a week, or
Like for parties?
for parties and things like that? So it's special in that sense. How about you, with your recipe? Every day or only like a special?
Oh, you can make it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I've had arepas for breakfast, lunch, and
Yeah.
dinner. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you can put different things in it, right?
Yeah, that's the way I like it.
Yeah. What's your favorite way to have an arepa?
Chicken.
Yeah. Now I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
Well, and so to the getting hungry, after our students make their recipes and write their stories, then there's a party.
That must be everybody's favorite part.
And so maybe one of you can describe what that day is like.
Was your friend taste a lot of food? I was really, really full. And then she was like, try it. And I was like, I can't anymore. And then she was like, try it. And I was like, okay. But this is real pictures from my recipe because we bring the recipes to the party.
Wow.
Yep, we made it, and then we bring to the party, and then we did a table there, and then we start taking pictures of our recipe and how it looks like and everything. So that's my recipe.
This is what you brought to school?
Yep.
And that's the same as what, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We made everything in class.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you get to try other things that you would never have tried before from other
Yeah.
students?
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing that you tried from someone else? If you can remember.
Oh, the pastelone.
I tried a
Yeah.
salmon. It was really good. I think was a Colombian, right?
The salmon was
Yep.
Fabio's, that's Dominican.
Dominican. Oh my god,
Yes.
that's amazing. I almost ate everything. I didn't because I was ashamed.
Pastelone, salmon.
I remember.
You just ate everything. Yeah.
This room must have smelled spectacular.
Oh, it was
Mhm.
phenomenal.
Mm.
Yeah.
Everybody must have, does people go by in the hall and want to come in?
Yeah,
And what happens?
They
you don't let
ate.
them in? Oh, they came in.
yeah.
It's good to share food.
Yeah.
Because we had like, I'm the period 4. So I have food from the period 1 to period 3 in my class. So we had a lot
Oh,
of
okay,
food,
I see.
you know. So every class bring the food. So
Yep.
we had a lot of food.
Yeah, well, there's...
When you got in here was crazy over here. She looks at me and say, my class is insane. And I say, I can see it.
But in all the best ways.
Yeah.
Did you get to take some home?
Of course
It
we
was so
did.
much, I imagine. Oh, yeah.
Well, next year when you have this, I need to be invited, and I'll come over with some
Of course.
Tupperware and
Yes.
load up for the trip.
That's always what I say. I'll bring
It's-
foil and.
It's
plates.
interesting, like to think about food, because like I teach immigration history at the university and write about and do research on immigration history. And in Lowell, almost every group that came in over time from the back in time that you were studying, one of the ways that they sort of said, I'm here, my community is here and we're staying, is food. And usually that was like a restaurant or a coffee shop or a bakery or something. And you can ride around the different neighborhoods in Lowell today and you can still see. And a lot of things that were maybe like a French-Canadian bakery in 1890 or 1900 are now a Brazilian bakery or a Colombian bakery, or a restaurant that was, you know, a Portuguese restaurant is now a Brazilian restaurant because there's a connection between
Exactly.
Portugal and Brazil and language and whatnot. And so food, and when and the cookbook always fascinated me because food was so important to immigrant families coming and doing exactly what you said, for a party, a birthday, whatever it would be, keeping in touch with home. The smell of something was a way to still like have in your heart, that's where I'm from, those are my people. And so that you're doing this is really, there's some really old cookbooks across the street from where we are, the Center for Lowell History, which is part of the university library. They have all these immigration history records of Lowell. And they have several cookbooks that people actually did in 1910, 1915, 1925, and they sold them at Christmas time. There was a group that helped settle immigrants and refugees in the city, and they would get all the different communities to put a recipe in, and then they would make a book and they would sell it at holiday time and at Christmas time, and take that money and then be able to help more people with the money that they would raise from selling the book. And so this is so much in the tradition of Lowell and of the history. It's why I really love it. I mean, and the idea of it, and that you're all doing it. You're connecting in a way to immigrant kids that were here 125 years ago, which is really phenomenal when you think about it. That you're in that tradition. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that history that you studied throughout the year, you are now a part of it.
Yep.
How cool is that? You're a part of history, and your recipes are documented for everybody to have and see.
Forever.
Forever. And so maybe 100 years from now, maybe it'll be people that are
It won't be
connected
me.
to us. And so
I will not be writing that history.
they'll be doing a History and Lowell show 100 years
it
and
will not
talking
be me.
about this episode.
Yeah,
That'll be in the archive somewhere.
it will not be me.
So if we wanted one of these, are they available anywhere?
They are, because so after we write the recipes and take the pictures and have the party, we publish the cookbook. And each student has a copy. But then we also do want to share it out into the community because, as you said, like, my students' history is a part of our history here in Lowell. It's a part of our history here in this country. And so they are out in the community. We are selling them at Lala Books, our amazing partner in Lowell, and then also at the school store at Lowell High School. And so you can find more about it. I have a page on my website that has a whole bunch of interviews with our students over the years. And the cookbooks are delicious and definitely, so there are 99 recipes in this cookbook contributed from students from 17 different countries.
It's amazing. Wow. Well, thank you for the work that you do. But thank all of you for the work that you've done this year. What you do is not easy. You have to give yourselves the credit. You know, you're doing the work, even
Absolutely.
if it means that you got to think a little bit harder. You're doing the work, and you're doing more work than a lot of people who only speak in one language. I need you to know that, all right? Because that is hard work to do. I can't even always think in one language, okay? And you're doing this in multiple languages. So thank you for having us. Thank you for your contributions to Lowell, to the country, to history. You are all amazing people, and all of your peers and the people in your classes. I hope that you know that.
I want to thank you and thank you, Ms. Lender, for the opportunity to be here and show ourselves to everyone.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Lander, for having us.
Absolutely, you're always welcome in the classroom, absolutely.
Well, I will hold you to that. I'll be here next year for the party.
Again.
Sounds great.
And thank you all for tuning in. This has been History in Lowell.